Okay, so we will talk about the state management today. So what is state management? Suppose we are logging in as a one user. Okay, so whenever suppose we'll in the left side we will be having so many pages, right? Whenever we'll be having left side so many pages like dashboard, and next thing is like a companies, employees. But based on our project, we'll be having so many data. In the right side top, we'll be having the what is the user he's logged in. Okay, all the data will be having it. Suppose you are going for page one, page two. Still the right side data we should show the what is the user logged in username, right? Even if you go to multiple page also, we want to show that data. Okay, what is the user he is currently logged in. All the data we want to show it. Okay, so storing the application data is called nothing but a state management. Suppose we are having a form, login form. Inside the login form, we are having two fields. Login, suppose here login and like username and password is there. Okay, so I want to store the username, and then what is the variable, what is the hook will take it, use state, correct, right? So if you want to store that variable, we'll write a one use state. Again I want to store password also, again we'll take a another use state, correct, right? So where why we are using, why we are taking these use state variables, to store the username and password. Okay, but this data will be using which component, only inside the login component. We will not use these two variables in any other places, correct, right? Okay, like same here, in React we can store our data mainly in two ways. Okay, so that is nothing but a component level and another is a global level. Component level means, suppose in our project how many components is there, so many components are there, right? Suppose if you go to here, dashboard will be there, correct, right? So dashboard will be there. So inside the dashboard, employees are there. Okay, after the employees, next companies are there. Like this, there are so many components are there. So if you want to store any particular data only for one component, that type of data is nothing but a component level, a component state. For example, can you tell me any component level state data? If I go to login, here we are storing username and password. So using what variables we are taking? Using the use state variable. Let us go to our login component and check it here. So what are the state variables we are taking here? Username and password. What is the hook we are using it? Use state variable. So if you want to store any data at component level, only one component, and we don't want to share it with any others, then we can use like a use state variable, correct, right? Okay, that is okay. Suppose I want to share one data to another component also. Okay, so another component means, suppose here I am going to type the any Trinits user, and type is something like this. I'm going to type it and click on login. This will not login because my username is admin and password is a admin. Click on login. So whatever the user I'm logging, I want to show it here. Okay, so now whatever the data I am entering, in which component I am entering? Login component, and this is a header component. How the data will share from here to there? That is not possible. Okay, let us see why it is not possible. If you see the login component, who is the parent for login component? App.js, correct, right? Who is the parent for my login component? This app.js is a parent component, login is a child, but I don't have any relationship with the my header, correct, right? Then how to share my data with my header? Okay, so then what we have to do? First, we need to send data from child to parent to the app.js. Again, this parent should send this data to the header. Again, parent to child. This is like a first child will send data to parent, and parent again will send data to the child, second child. Okay, so this is like a tree, right? We don't want to do like this. Instead of this, we can go for a global state management. Okay, so first let us see what is a component level state management. If you want to store any data inside a particular component, then that is nothing but a component level. Using what hook we can use it? Component level, component state, using the use state variables. Okay, so let us, what is the second type of global state? So whenever we want to store same data in multiple components, then we will go for a global state. Example, okay, can we give any example here? Yes, whenever we are logging in, okay, whenever we are logging in, we will enter the data, right? That data I want to share here, okay, that is one place. And another place is whenever I am logging in, I want to show my sidebar. Based on the login, I want to show my sidebar. So how many places it is required? One is sidebar, another is a header. So if you want to share any data between the multiple components, then we have to go for which concept? Global state management. Okay. So let's go for to storing the data at application wide. That is nothing but a global. Okay. And global state management allows the property drilling. So let me tell what is the property drilling. Okay, so there is an important question. What is a property drilling? So let us try to do like this here. Suppose I am having like a two childs. So let me open the paint here. Okay, suppose we are going to draw one component. Okay, so this is one parent component. Okay, so this is component A. This is component A. This parent is having two child tags. That is nothing but a this is a B and this is a C. So A is a parent, B is a child, C also child. Where these are available here. Okay. Again, this B and having another child. This is called a D and E is there. Okay. This is having another child. F is there. Okay. So now suppose I want to pass my name to here. I want to pass my name like from A component to D component. Then what is the procedure you have? You can do it simple. You can pass this data as a props. Correct, right? We can send data from parent to child. How can we pass it props? So here I'm A to B. I am sending as a props. Okay, and here also what you can do, same props I will pass it to the D here. Okay, but this props I will not use it in the my B component. I am sending only why I am taking these props only to send to D component. Okay, so even though I am not using these props, just to send data to my child component, I am taking as a argument and I am sending it. Okay, suppose you want to send to another level, there is a another level is there. So how many components we are passing? A is sending to B, B is sending to D, D is sending to G, something like this. Correct, right? Suppose if you are breaking something here in the center, what will happen? D, and finally will not display the data. Okay, so this type of sending data from one level to another level, another level to another level, this process we are calling as a property drilling. Okay, property drilling. Okay, understood, right? So here we have a dependency. Parent A need to send to B, B need to send to child, that child need to send to another child. Okay, so to avoid this problem, we are going for a concept called global state management. If you are using the global state management, we are not going to do like this. Then what is the structure in that case? Okay, to avoid this global management, what we are going to do, we are going to create like a one global state, something like separate box. Okay, here we are going to create a whatever the property I want to have it, I will create here. Okay, suppose this D want this name, it will directly go here and get it. It will not go to parent and it will not go to again parent. It will not like this. Directly it will go to here. And what is advantage this time? We no need to send data as a property to child, again another property to child. Wherever suppose this B wanted, directly it will go to this store and it will get it. Something like this. So here we will not ask parent, hey parent, give the props. So this process we will avoid it. Okay, so what is the property drilling? What is the property drilling? Sending the data from parent to child, child to another child, child to another child. This is nothing but a property drilling. If you want to avoid this, so how can you avoid it? Using the global state management. Okay, so now let us go for what is a global state management, and we can see this. Okay, suppose if you want to see the property drilling in this code, okay, see this app.js is a parent. Correct, right? And who is the child for app.js? Login. Correct, right? And if you go to login, and who is the child here? Suppose if you have any class like component A or component B, component 1 and component 2. If data is passing from app to login, this is one child. And login to component 1, this is another level. So like this, we are sending data in a two levels. We want to avoid this. Okay. To avoid this, we are going for what concept? Global state management. Okay, so global state management mainly we can achieve in a two ways. Okay, mainly there are so many ways are there. Okay, but mainly we are going to discuss about these two ways. So the first way is a React context. Okay, and second thing is nothing but a Redux state management. Okay, so let us go with the first way, React context. Then first you understand what is the React context, right? If you want to share data between the multiple components or one level to another level, then we can easily share using the React context. Suppose I want to store in only single component, then we no need to use the React context. Okay, so let us use it. So React context will use to maintain the global state. Okay, we are not going to maintain a state level, we are going to maintain a global level. Okay, and this will avoid the property drilling. We know that, right? We no need to send data from the child to parent, parent to something like this. Okay, and this context API allows to create a context object, and we can use it anywhere. Okay, so let us see what is it. So this is an interview question, and what is a React context, and tell me the what is use of React context, what is the property drilling, how to avoid the property drilling, all answers it will tell. Okay, let us see step by step. First we'll create one step by step, and we'll do this. So today what we want to do, as part of the this thing, first we'll write a login page here. Okay, already we have the login. So whatever the username I am typing here, okay, admin and admin, and if I click login, I want to show that username, same username I want to show it here. Okay, and second thing is, here this name login and logout is there, right? If I'm logging in, login, I want to change this to the button some other type, something like this. These two we want to do this one. So let us do step by step. First, if you want to maintain any React context, this React context is already inbuilt available in React itself. It is available. We no need to install any other library. Okay, so let us install. Let us try to use the React context. So first step is create the React context. Okay, so let us go to our project. Okay, so here as per our structure, we are creating one components. So inside all we will create all components. Correct, right? Okay, and here we have created one utils folder for all utils like endpoints, all everything. So since whenever we are going to write any new, we are going to maintain context, right? We are going to create a new folder, not inside the components, outside of the component. Okay, so this is nothing but a context. We will create like a context. So this is a folder. So inside the context, so currently we are going to maintain about the user. Correct, right? What is the user is logged in, and what is the information regarding the user we are going to maintain. We can create any number of context. Okay, so here we are going to create context about the user. So that is the reason we'll write like a user context. So here I'm going to write like a new file, user context.js. Okay, so you can create a JS file. That is okay. Okay, so now first step is inside this file, create the React context. Okay, so there is a method called create context, which is available inside the React. Okay, and this method will take as a one object. You know, one normal object, right? Object is nothing but it will have a key and a value pairs, and some methods also we can have it. So let us have something like this. First let us try to create a context. So here I will say create context. See, this library is from which from where? React. Okay, create. Okay, so it will so it will take one object, right? So that is nothing but I am giving like a, this is the default value. Okay, okay. Excellent. Now I will store this. This will create it will return one object. So let us try to store this into one variable constant. So I will say user context, something like this. Okay, so here first we are creating one method. That method name is a create context. In interview you need to tell the steps. First step, we are going to create a context. For this context we are going to pass one object as argument, and we can store this into any name. You can use it. Okay, since we are writing our file name as user context, I am writing like a user context. Suppose you want to store your chart data, then you can say chart context. Suppose you want to store your company's data, you can write a company's context. Some based on your project you can write any name. Okay, so this is the first step. We are going to do like this. Suppose I want to use this one in another file, then I can use like a export. We know that what is the use of export, right? So let us write a export statement. Export. Okay. Okay. So that is fine. Now first thing is what is the information you are going to store? So that is what we want. Okay. So now what I want to do, I want to store my user information. Okay. So like what is the user, what is the user ID, something like this. So I'm going to do like this, simple user. You can write a simple name or you can write object also, anything is fine. For example, I'm going to show like a username. For now, I'm going to store a username property. Okay, something like this. So this object is having only one property, username. Okay. And second, suppose I want to write one function. Okay. So something like a login function. Whenever I'm clicking login, I want to do like this, and this is the one. So this is a login, this is the name, and this is a ES6 function. Correct, right? Or I can write like a function and open bracket, something like this. Both are same. Okay. So either you write a normal function or write a ES6 function. Anything is fine. So here inside the context, I'm writing one username and I'm writing a login. This function, why I'm writing login is whenever I'm clicking login, I want to log in the data. I want to update the data. Okay. And at that time, I want to store my username. Something like this. Like I want to take my username, for example, something like this. Okay. So this method is taking one argument, that is nothing but a username. Here I am not writing anything, that is fine. So this is the first step. Okay. So the next step we are going to do is, let's go for a second step. So second step is create the context provider object. Okay. So what is this context provider, we are going to discuss. So already context provider is nothing but a one simple component. We can write one export function name, and which will take some properties, something like this. Let us try to write a context provider. Okay. So let us go to here and write like a export constant. So what is this context? User context. I will name it as a user context provider. Okay. Provider is equal to some ES6 function and something like this. Okay. So here I'm taking a props. Correct, right? If you open any login component, go to the top here. So here what you are writing, you are keeping one name and you are writing, this is nothing but a function name and props. Okay. This is exactly equal to that here. Okay. If you are writing function and that function name is a user context provider and you are taking bracket and props, both are same. Here we are writing one where this is a function expression, that is a normal function. That is the only difference. So here I'm writing second step. What is the second step? I'm writing a user context provider. So this provider ID is taking a props. Props is nothing. This is also like a React component only. Okay. And props. Okay. So here what we want to do, I want to track my username changes. If you want to track any username changes, then what we have to do, we will write like one constant variable username, set username under ustate. So we know that ustate, right? Ustate, what is the use of ustate? If you want to track any changes, then we can use a ustate. So here what is the name I am taking? Username. So that is the reason I am taking username and set username. Suppose here if you want to take any other name like password or any user and same name, you can take it, no problem. Okay. That is the one second. And suppose whenever I'm clicking login, I want to update my state. So that is the reason I am going to write a one function. Okay. I'm going to write one function. That function name is nothing but a login. Okay. And this is taking a ES6 function expression. So either we can write like this or we can write a function. What is my function name? Login. And it will take the username and open bracket and a close bracket. Okay. So whenever we are calling this function, I want to update my state. So if you want to update any state, then what is the variable you should call it? Set username is equal to username. You can take this name, you can take any name, no problem. Okay. You can take a user or username, anything is fine. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So clear, right? So currently I'm going to have one state variable and second thing like this. Suppose if this is a component, then we should return some HTML code, right? So that is the reason we'll write a return and we are going to do like this. Okay. Okay. So let me hold this. Okay. Okay, first let us return something like this. Okay, return here. Okay, so I'm going to have a simple return statement. Here we need to write some code. Okay, so what is the code you are going to write? It is so here already we have created one context, right? User context we created. Okay, so this user context, inside the user context there will be one object called provider. This is automatically will come from the React, not from ours. It will come from the React. Okay, so here we are going to write a React user context dot provider. So let me try to do like this. Okay, let me write it. What is my context name in the top? User context. Write the same name, whatever the name you are writing, user context dot. Okay, provider. Okay, something like this, and you can close the user context data provider. So the next simple step here, I am writing a return statement. Inside the return statement, I am writing a user context data provider. This user context data provider is coming from the React library. Okay, so that is okay. Next, here I am writing a value is equal to I need to provide one JSON object. Okay, so this is a JSX expression. Inside the JSX expression, I need to provide one object. Okay, so I can pass directly like this. So whenever you are writing empty code, that is nothing but a object. Okay, inside the object, I want to store this data. What is the data I want to store? It username. So if you want to create any object, I can write like a username colon username. Correct, right? And I want to write one function also. Okay, so my function name is a login, and it should point into this login. Correct, right? Something like this I want to create. But if you remember the JS like JSON, whenever your left side property and right side property are name both are same, then we no need to write like this. Simply we can remove this right side part and we can keep like this. Okay, automatically JSON will think your property name is same, your value also same. That is okay. And when for this also same. So that is the reason we will remove here and we will keep it like this. Okay, so now you understood, right? This value is taking one JSON object, and that JSON object we are providing as a with these two values. Later we can add any number of value also, no problem. Okay, for now we are going to add a two values. One is a username, another is a login function. Login is a function, username is a state variable. Okay, so this is the second step. Okay, and I can write in a single line. Since this is our same line, I can write in a single line also, no problem. Something like this. Okay, okay. Now suppose I want to print my dynamic content. There is one concept called containment, right, in React. Whenever you want to print any dynamic content in the center of the screen here, okay, then we can use like one technique, props data children. Correct, right? Wherever you are seeing this one, it will replace like a dynamic content. Whatever the tag I am using inside between this, automatically that tag will display here. Okay, so this is a second part. So first part, what is the first part we have defined here? We have used a create context. First we have created the context. What method we have used? Create context. Second step, what we have done? We are creating the user context provider. So here we are creating one state variable and one simple function. Okay, and we are returning the user context provider. This user context is nothing but this variable and dot provider. Okay, here in the center we are declaring the props data children for dynamic purpose. Okay, so these two steps are done. Let's go for third step. So two steps are done, right? Let's go for third step. Go to your index.js, okay, and use the context provider, or you can go for app.js. You can use this tag like this. Okay, this is thought. We have created the context. Now we need to use it. Okay, let's go and use it. Okay, as per the example, let's go for the app.js, or you can go for the index.js also. You can go for it, no problem. Okay, let's go for index.js. So here you are writing your this one, right? Okay, so here inside this you can use the user context provider. Let us go here. First try to export this file. Okay, user context provider. Okay, let me go to index.js. Okay, so here let's go here, and what is the tag we want to write it? User context provider. Okay, and we'll write like this. Okay, so here in the center what we are going to do, we are going to write like this. Right click and format the document. So see here, first I am writing a user context provider, and inside I am keeping my app component. Like sometimes it will be like a app or sometimes I have renamed it. So earlier it is a app only, I have renamed it to my app, anything is fine. So and so now what will happen, whatever the content I am placing here, automatically it will display like a props.children, that will be like it will display like a dynamically. So this is the third step. Now we have added the third step also. Now fourth step, suppose wherever the component, okay, wherever the component you want to get the data, you want to get the data from the your context, where we want to get the data, suppose here wherever we are showing Trinits data, I want to get the data, this login data I want to get in a that component. Now go to that component, which component we want, header component. Let's go to header component, go to header component, okay, yes, here. So now here we want to get the data from the where context, okay, there you go here, and there is a hook called use context. What is the hook name? Use context. This is also one of the React hook, okay. So let's go and use it, use context, something like this, use context, okay, okay, use context, something like. So what is the context we want to use it, use context, okay, user context, okay. What is the context we have created? If you open here, first step we have created user context, right? That context I should use it here, okay, I should use it in the argument, okay. So this capital and small is case sensitive, please write it as a same, okay. So now it will return a one object, okay, it will return a one object. What object it will return? If you open here, what is the object we are storing here? One object we are storing, right? This object will return there. Inside object, what is the properties we are having it? Username and login function. So let's go here and store in one variable constant. I will say user context obj, or I can say user obj. Any name you can keep it. This name you can keep any name, no problem. This is a hook, and we are passing as an argument to the hook. That is okay. So let us try to write the first sample here, okay. So I will write a copy here, I will write a console dot log of user obj, okay, file save all, okay. So this is the fourth step, okay. So now so far what we are trying to do here, we are see what is the hook, we have written that hook, right? This data is available, see username is empty, login is a function, it is showing a f, because we are not updating any data. Now whenever we are clicking here, okay, whenever we are clicking here, we need to update our data to the context. Hey context, I am updating my name, something like this, okay. So now where, which code this place, login component, okay, go to login component. Now go to login component, okay, here again write the same here, ma. So what is the hook we want to write it here? Same hook only. So tell me what is the hook name? Use context, okay, use context, okay, use context. Again what is the argument it will take? User context, user context, okay. And we can store into one object, right? Let us store into one object, you can keep any name, no problem. Use constant user obj, okay. Just for better practice I will keep like this, okay. So now I want to write here, we in the inside the user object we have one function. What is the function? We are having a login function, correct, right? Okay. What we are going to do, whenever we are clicking this handle submit, we are submitting, right? Here we are writing one validation. So if my username and password is admin, here what is the type I am navigating to dashboard, right? At this time I will update to my state, okay. User obj dot login. What is the login? What is the login username? This username I will give it. So this username, whatever the data I am storing it, that data I will store here, okay. For now let me store file save all. Let us reload again, okay. So first see, is there any data in the top? No, okay, that is okay. So I will type here admin, and I will type the admin, okay, and click on login. See, where is the data it is printing here? This is data is printing from the header component, where we have entered our data in login component, where our data is printing, in a header component. Who is sending this data to from login component to header component? Using the global state management, correct, right? Using what technique we are using it? So what context, React context, right? Now let us fix these two buttons, okay. Now we got the data, right? Whatever the data is there, I want to print it here, Okay, let us go to our header component. Let us go to header component. Okay, so see here, inside the header, here we have the data, right? So let us go to login here, and here we are having one property, right? Is user logged in. This variable name here we are having, by default what variable I am having it, false. Okay, so here we will remove this one. Okay, we will not follow, we will remove this one. And whenever we are clicking this login also, we will remove it. This is not required. And this button we are having it, right? Okay, handle login, we'll remove this also. Okay, so but now I want to show my whether if I am logged in, I want to show my username, otherwise I don't want to show it. So how can I track my whether I am logged in or not? Simply I can say, inside this object, if any data is there for this username, that means I am logged in. Okay, if no data is there, then I am not a logged in. Correct, right? Some, you understood the logic, right? Let us try to do like this. So here what I'm going to do, I will copy this user obj, I'll go here, I will remove like this, I will say user obj dot username. This meaning is, if I have a username, you show the logout button. If I don't have the username, you show the login button. Okay, and same thing, and same check you will do in the bottom also. Okay, same check. If I have the username, then what I have to do, I have to print that name. Okay, I have to print that name. Otherwise I can print like a empty. You can do like this question mark, and you can write like a empty, something like this. Okay, let us go to file, save all. Let us try to see here. Okay, let me go see here, admin is there. Okay, for demo purpose, now what we want to do, whenever I click log out, now what I want to do, I want to remove this data from the state. Okay, I want to remove the data from the state. Let's go here, let's write a click event. How to write a click event? On click is equal to, let's write one function, handle logout something. Okay, handle logout or some. Okay, so write this function, handle logout, function, let's write it, function handle logout. Okay, and open bracket, something like this. Okay, so now first I need to verify when I am going to click this one. So I will write like this, if, okay, user obj dot username is available, then if username is available, then we are going to create like a username is equal to something like this. Okay, let me remove here. Okay, okay, so let me create this one. So this is a function I am looking here. If username is available, then what we have to do first, we have to clear the username. If you want to clear the username, we need to call a function login and with the empty user, then automatically again this component will come and it will remove here. And I want to navigate to which one I want to navigate it, login page. So whenever I am log out, I want to go to login page. Okay, so let us save it here. Let's see. Let's click on logout. See here, and here automatically button is changing to login, and there is no username again. Okay, so let me close this one and check it here. So here I will type the admin, again admin, and click on login. See, admin is coming here, and automatically button also changing to logout, and we are showing the data. Okay, so whatever the data you are typing in the login component, automatically it is sharing there, right? So like this, you can share your data from the one component to another component. Okay, suppose I don't want to see the only admin, I can enter any data. Okay, I can enter any data. So let us try to do this. So here, if you go to your login component, what is the check you are writing here? If username is equal to admin and password is equal to admin, then only you are logging in. Correct, right? For only simple check, I am going to remove this first check. This meaning is I can enter any name, no problem. Okay, but my password should be admin. Then only it will go inside. Otherwise, it will show a invalid username and password. Let's go and check, verify this time. I'll click on logout. This time I'll type the Trinits tech and admin. Okay, and login. See what is the data it is showing it a Trinit. Whatever the data you are typing, that data you will get it. Okay, so how you are getting this data? using the React context. So now if you go to the context last step, last step. So whichever wherever the place we want to store the data, we will use like user object data, that property name. Suppose if I want to call some function, then I can call like a login function, something like here. If you go here, I'm calling like a user data login function, and I'm giving a empty value. Why I'm giving empty value? If empty value means a log out. If not empty value means is a logged in. That is the reason we are doing like this. Okay. So this is nothing about the React context. We are now, first we have created the context. What are the steps we have done? First we have created one context. Let's summarize. We have created one context. Okay. And what is the method we have used it? Create context. Second step, we have created the context provider. Inside the context provider, we are creating one name and we are creating one function. Okay. And we are returning the user context data provider. Okay. And we are writing props.children for dynamic. And third step, what we have done, we go to the index.js. Inside the index.js, what we have written? We have written the user context provider, not the user context provider. Okay, provider. Inside the provider, I'm keeping my app component. This is the third step. Fourth step, what we have done, wherever you want to get the data from the state, then you can use one hook. What is the hook? We can use it use context. This context we want to give one value. What is the value? That is nothing about our user context, whatever the context. Okay, that is the context we have given. And this will store like a, suppose you want to print that name, wherever you want to print it name, you can write like a user context data username, something like this. Okay.